Hello, everyone. Hope you've had a beautiful day. This is Hugo Suarez on keys, and I'm Tiffany Jane, the guest vocalist for today. Welcome to the Wednesday gathering, you small but mighty group. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. I see the King of Glory coming on the clouds with fire. The whole earth shakes, the whole earth shakes, yeah. I see His love and mercy washing over all our sin. The people sing, the people sing. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. I see a generation rising up to take their place with selfless faith, with selfless faith. I see a new revival stirring as we pray and seek. We're on our knees. We're on our knees. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Heal my heart and make it clean. Open up my eyes to the things unseen. Show me how to love like you, how to love me. Break my heart for what breaks yours. Everything I am for your kingdom's cause. As I walk from birth into eternity. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. 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 Hosanna in the highest. Hosanna in the highest.
Tiffany Jane, Hugo Suarez, thank you. That was so beautiful. Good evening. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken. Welcome to the Going Within gathering, practicing the presence. So we come together in community as on a Wednesday night to remember the power and the presence of God as our life and to tap into the field of infinite possibilities, infinite potentiality. So as you know, this is a candle lighting service, and this evening I'm really excited about my talk. I'm talking about creating from a sense of wholeness. So I want you to come forward and light your candle and just set an intention this evening to opening up to that potential of creating something from a sense of wholeness as we practice the presence together.
Jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how he loves us so. Oh, how he loves us, how he loves us so. He's jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory, and I realize just how beautiful you are, how great your affections are for me. And oh, how he loves us all. Oh, how he loves us. He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves.
Wow. Beautiful. Tiffany Jane, Hugo Suarez. That was so gorgeous. So, this is the time of our evening we come together as one and practice the silence together. I invite you to close your eyes and to go within and take a deep breath and just let it out. And just breathe into your heart space, the eye of the heart, the eye of love. And this evening, what I would like you to lock into your heart is that feeling of wholeness. Think of a time in your life where you felt totally complete, totally at one with all of life. Nothing never needed to be fixed. Nothing was broken. You were totally connected to the presence and the power of Spirit. And as we move into the silence, allow this feeling of wholeness to permeate throughout your whole body. And allow this feeling of wholeness to move throughout the whole sanctuary as we practice the presence together.
There is one magnificent presence. There is one magnificent power. It is all God, and it is all good. And God is wholeness and the creative power. God is life. God is beautiful. And I am one with this magnificence. I am a unique expression of spirit, experiencing the love and the joy and the peace and the wholeness that comes from the creative expression that I am. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each person here. I know each person, each soul is magnificent and whole and complete and perfect. For that is God's life moving through each and every one of us. And I know that this evening is filled with the magnificence of spirit as it channels through Reverend Lori McMacken, as she illuminates us about the power of spirit and wholeness and creativity. And so it is. Tonight's reading is from the Joyous Abundance Journal by Reverend Petra Weldis and Reverend Christian Sorensen. And the title is, There's More Than What You See on the Outside. And the quote is, "A dream is the bearer of a new possibility, the enlarged horizon, the great hope." Howard Thurman. Spiritual awareness is recognizing the infinite essence in and through all things, the knowledge that there is only one life, and that life shows up in all expressions. In contrast, materialism is dependent on drawing to it what it thinks it needs, on something showing up from the outside. There is a significant difference between trying to get what you think you need, as opposed to aligning with the grace of God, knowing that all you need will be provided. A materialistic consciousness would say he needs $500 to get a ticket from San Diego to New York, whereas a spiritually minded person is open to the grace of God taking care of all things, since it is all things. Manifestation in this case could be $500 for a ticket, but it also could be a friend needing a companion to go to New York and paying for you to come along. Or someone giving you their frequent flyer miles, a lift or a train ticket. A variety of options that are all part of the infinite disappear when you specify exactly how it has to be provided. With the belief in the way being shown beyond what you think is best, your options are open to a greater capacity of action, fulfilling your desire. The spiritually aware know that the visible comes from the invisible, and form from the unformed, with consciousness serving as the sculptor. So if you have a pain in your body and the doctor tells you to take something for it, it could work well, particularly if you believe it to begin with. But a spiritually minded individual knows there are options with God, and what is first presented may be only one of the many alternatives that spirit can use to alleviate dis-ease, since it's about wholeness and not symptoms. And the affirmation for this is, I am spiritually minded in seeing the answers in my world. And then I'd like to welcome Reverend Lori McMacken back.
Thank you, Deb Sadler. Thank you. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you so much. So this evening, my focus is going to be about creating from a sense of wholeness. And what we know in religious science is there's only one life, one power, one essence that expresses itself through all and as all. And it is everywhere in its fullest. And we know that you are one with God. For all that God is, you are. You are the grace, the love, the joy. You hold all these divine qualities. And when we align ourselves with the power and the presence of God as our life, when we reveal our gifts and our talents, what happens, we create from a place of wholeness. And this place of wholeness is a place of fulfillment and a place of freedom. So in your mind's eye, think of a little baby, like 1 month old, and she's in her yellow onesie. And there's little bunnies all over this yellow onesie. And she's being caressed by her mother. And what does your mind think about this little baby? Yeah. Do you think that maybe her thighs are a little too fat and she needs to lose a couple inches? Maybe she has no hair and no teeth? Maybe you think all she does is eat and sleep? Like, what is she going to do with her life? Is she going to make anything out of herself? Or maybe you think she's a burden. No, right? You laughed. We would never think that about a divine little child who is beautiful, because we see this child through the essence of God. Well, we certainly think that about ourselves. That's for sure, because we were that little baby at one time. And what has happened is that the universe or our society has projected on us or hypnotized us to think that we are something different, that our value is contingent upon who we are, or our self-worth is contingent upon maybe our weight, or our success is contingent upon whether we're worth what our net worth is. And so this is not the truth of who we are, but for some reason we have gotten lost in our society, thinking that we have to get something outside of ourselves in order to be fulfilled. Well, I'll be happy when I make $1 million. I'll be happy when I meet the man of my dreams. I'll be happy when I feel secure, when I have the house to live in. But this is not the truth. Because everything that we have and everything that we need is within us right here and right now. But for some reason, we have easily been sideswiped by society and by the race-conscious thinking. And it is through our evolutionary process as spiritual beings that we recognize what the truth is, that we don't have to create anything from outside of ourselves, because everything that we need is right here and right now. And so I had this beautiful experience speaking with a woman last week. And she's at a point of her life, midlife, where she has a clean slate. She can totally recreate her life. And what she said to me totally blew me away. She said, I want to be an ambassador of love. She goes, I have a relationship right now, and I want to create this relationship out of love. I don't want to be in this relationship where they need me and I need them. No, it's two whole people come together as one in love. I want to learn about money and finances, but I want the cylinder to be all around love. I want to root myself in love, and I want to be financially free. She said, I want to have communities of men and women together, come together as one and like-minded, and they have the same purpose and they have the same belief. But I want to be the ambassador of love. And she goes, I want to live in the present moment with every single person that I meet. I thought to myself, I was just so amazed. It's almost like she had healed my soul. I was so happy that I had spoken with her. Because how many people say that I want to create from a sense of wholeness? No, I want a job that's going to pay me, a couple $100,000. I want a man that's very wealthy. I want a fancy car, and I want a big house. Because those things are going to make me happy, but we find out that they really don't make us happy when we create from a sense of lack and limitation. Now, I know everyone knows someone in their life that is very wealthy, or maybe you've heard about someone who maybe has had a life when they first grew up, had a sense of lack and limitation. They grew up poor. So they decided that they were going to be great manifestors and they were going to create a lot of money in their life. But what happened after they created a lot of money and a lot of wealth, they're still using coupons, right? They drive a beat-up car. Their clothes reveal that they don't really have a good sense of self-worth about them. Because you don't create what you want, you create who you are. And when we don't evolve, we don't grow spiritually, we can become great manifestors, but we become manifestors that are still broken inside. I had a girlfriend, her father had just recently passed away, and he was worth millions of dollars. And he was a hoarder, and he came from a sense of lack and limitation. And she flew herself and her kids out to visit him when he was in Florida, and she was in Texas. And so he wanted her to pay rent on his condo while they were staying there. This is a man with millions of dollars. He's going to be dying any minute. She's going to inherit everything. And because there's a sense of brokenness, a sense of lack and limitation, that we keep that consciousness with us. Wherever you go, there you are, right? And I know for myself that for many years I had manifested from a sense of brokenness because I was a professional codependent. And a professional codependent, they have self-love issues. I had a lot of self-esteem issues. So I had to work through those issues, and I really didn't feel like I deserved and everything. But I was a great manifester. I could work hard. I could have a goal. I could have a vision. I was really good at giving my gifts and my talents to the world, but it didn't matter whatever I did. The end result to me wasn't enough. And I think that's really sad because there's a lot of young women who have that feeling, and probably young men too, that they're not enough, and you can manifest and manifest and manifest. You still have that empty feeling inside because you're not creating from a sense of wholeness. So do you know that that show in the 1980s called Star Search? Well, 1984, I was on that show, me with my dance partner. And we were on that show 4 times. Now, that's pretty good 4 times, right? But by the time I got to the 4th show, I was so skinny. And I was so stressed out because I didn't have that sense of wholeness. And when I was done with the show, I remember going back to Las Vegas where I was living at the time and going into my dance class and, oh, I'm such a loser. I had this feeling that I was a loser, that it just wasn't good enough. Like I didn't get the $100,000. Even if I got the $100,000, I probably thought I was a loser. It's very, very sad. But thank God we evolved and, we pay a high price. You're young and beautiful. You have no idea. You got everything you can imagine. You're delivering your gifts. But when you don't create from a sense of wholeness, you create from a sense of brokenness, or you need to be fixed in some way. It doesn't matter what you do. You still have that feeling because wherever you go, there you are. So we have tools here, and thank God. Like the wheel was invented, and at one time, the horse and carriage pulled the wheel. It was something on the outside, and as time went on, now we have the engines that are driving the wheels in the car. And so as we evolve spiritually, we can be driven from the inside out and not from the outside in. One of our great teachers in this teaching is Michael Bernard Beckwith, and he has the life visioning process because you can there's a visualization where you visualize something and then you manifest it, and you visualize something and you manifest it, and you can do this over and over and over again. But when we come from that place of brokenness, you never really completely feel free or fulfilled. But the life visioning process is when we align ourselves up with Spirit, when we actually deliver our gifts, our innate gifts that is within us. And it's already done in the mind of God when we move through that life visioning process. We don't have to struggle. It's not a strife. It's just an organic unfoldment of our life. And it's almost like if you're at a park and you see an ant, and the ant is like scrambling up the hill, and you know that ant is looking for snacks or lunch, right? And right above the hill, the ant can't see that there is a potato chip, okay? So you know that ant's gonna find the potato chip. So this is kind of what the life visioning process is, that everything we need is already done in the mind of God. So you know when you're manifesting, you have the ant, the journey, and the potato chip, right? So whatever you want to create, you create from this sense of connection and alignment, and you ask the important questions like, what is God's idea for my life? And out of nothing, out of nowhere, the flash comes, and it leads you and it guides you into this direction. But there's what I like about it is that angst in you, like, oh, I got to get this. I have to have that. No, you don't have to have that. It's already done. You can relax and just allow the unfoldment to happen in your life. And I ran into one of his students, a book that he wrote called Emergence. His name was Derek Randall. Great book. And in this book, he talks about creating from wholeness. And there is a breakthrough moment that he takes everyone through. And I want to take you through this breakthrough moment that he assists with his people. He actually takes the life visioning process and all the teachings that we know here, and he takes it into a corporate America, which I really loved. But this is think of something that you want in your life. That's the first thing. Think of something that you want. Just bring it in your mind's eye. What do you want? And then think of why you want it, okay? So let's say you want $1 million, okay? And that's your goal. You want $1 million. And the reason why you want $1 million is because you want to buy a home. So what we want to do is we want to boil down why you want this into a feeling, okay? So now we're going to put why we want it. I want to buy a home. Why? Because I want to feel secure. That's why I want to buy a home. Now, this is a spiritual prototype when you have the feeling of something that you want to create in your life. Now, we have to remember that if you buy a home because you want to feel secure, that means you're trying to get something that's outside of you. So, okay, you got the home, you feel secure for a day. So what happens when you lose your job and you can't pay the mortgage anymore? You no longer feel secure. What happens when your wife decides to divorce you and you have to sell the house and you lose the home? You no longer feel secure, right? So what happens when a fire breezes through and you didn't pay your insurance? You no longer feel secure, right? So what this does, this tells you that you're not going to get security for something outside of you. That security is already within you. Mm-hmm. And so when we move from a space of feeling secure, I have security no matter what. God is my source of supply. I am rooted in that security. If a fire comes through, if the wind blows or whatever happens in the weather, my tree is going to stand, right? And so when you create from a place of security, and all it is really acknowledging it, knowing that God's my source of supply, I realized that I was trying to create from something, thinking that house was going to give me something. The house has given me nothing. I'm already secure in who I am. I know that no matter what happens, I'll always be taken care of. And this house is just an expression of my life. But it is not my security. Okay, how about something else? I want to be a successful author. Well, why do you want to be a successful author? For people to love and respect me? That's not really a feeling, so let's make it a feeling. What do you want? I want people to love and respect me. Well, why do you want people to love and respect me? So I feel loved and respected. But you think that if you become a successful author, people will love and respect you. Now, what happens if you go through the trouble of writing the book and you don't hit the bestseller list? Then you don't feel loved and respected. What if someone gives you a review that's terrible? You don't feel loved and respected. What if no one will even take on your book? You don't feel loved and respected. But you think that you're going to get that love and respect from something outside of you, that you're going to put hundreds and hundreds of hours and blood and sweat and tears? No, it's not what you want, it's what you need, right? So in this moment right here and right now, you realize, what do I have to do? I have to love and respect myself. And when I recognize that I love and respect myself, then I can organically write the book. Because once I write the book, it doesn't matter what happens to the book because I am love and respect. So this is kind of what happened to me when I was manifesting at a very young age from a place of insecurity. It doesn't matter how much I'm going to manifest in my life, how much I'm going to create. If I don't have a sense of self-love, I'm never going to get it from the outside. I'm never going to get enough approval from somebody else. It's like scrambling to get everyone's approval. It's like having a hole on the bottom of a bucket. You can never fill it up, right? It just keeps coming down. But it comes from within me. I'm the one that has to love and approve of myself. And when someone looks at me with a cockeyed look, or it doesn't matter anymore. At once I'd run away and cry. But now that I live and I move and I have my being from a sense of wholeness, it doesn't matter what other people think of me. It's none of my business. So this is really something I want to share my gifts and talents in the world. And this is what we are here to do. We are here to share our gifts. We are here to share our talents. We are here to pour them forward. And this is when we are truly aligned up with Spirit. And this is when we can truly allow the gifts to come into our life and have a feeling of freedom and fulfillment. So people can benefit from them. That's beautiful. So people can benefit from them. That's why we are here, for people to benefit from our talents and our gifts, not to get anything from the outside, but to move from the inside out. So I want to talk about one of my favorite keynote speakers in corporate America, and I'm sure that you know him, but since we're kind of on the same topic, he had talked about inspiring people and corporations and businesses to move from the inside out and not from the outside in. And his name is Simon Sinek. I'm sure you know who he is, right? Do you guys know Simon Sinek? Yeah, everyone knows Simon. So he has what you call the golden circle. And what is on the outside of the circle, how is in the middle of the circle, and the why is in the very, very middle. So what? Every organization on the planet knows what they do. They sell their products and their gifts and their services out to the world. Some organizations know how they do what they do, and these are the things that make them special or separate from other people in the competition, but very few organizations know why they do what they do. For instance, let's say if you sell cars. You sell cars, that's what you do, but they have great gas mileage, that's how, and why? Maybe you want to buy one. So their motivation is to try to get money from you. And most people live from this golden circle because it's clear on the outside what they do, and it's fuzzy as they move into the inside. So we have a law firm. We have great lawyers. They're all very educated. Do you want a lawyer? Right? Don't you hate it when people call you a solicitor? You know all they want is money from you, right? It's crazy because they're moving from the outside in. So Simon Sinek says, Apple communicates like, if Apple communicated like most companies, he refers to the Apple company, which I love Apple, they would move from the outside in. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, they're simple to use. Would you like to buy one. But Apple moves from the inside out. They start with why. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. What are they saying? We believe in evolution. Everyone loves evolution, right? We believe in moving humanity forward. The way we challenge the status quo is by making products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. That's how they do it. Oh, by the way, we make computers. Do you want to buy one? Yes. I love Apple, but they're moving from the inside out. And what he explains is that our brain, this is in biology, if you open up our brain, it looks like the golden circle, okay, from the top down. The outside is the neocortex, and the neocortex is, it's the stats and the guidelines and all the boring stuff of what is about this car, okay? This car, this is the color, this is the age, this is everything it does, and people can't hear that. And the inside, the why and the how is the feeling. This is the choice. This is what motivates people to take action. So this is almost like what I've been talking about, but coming from a space of wholeness. When we move from the inside out, we know why we're doing what we're doing. I know that when I stand up here and speak, I can't speak without notes. Do you know why? Because I know if I speak with notes, I can't hear myself. And when I hear a speaker speak with notes, I can't hear them. But when I have no notes, I don't know what I'm going to say, but this is more of a soul-to-soul communication because now you're listening to my heart and I'm listening to you. So this is the communication that we move through the limbic brain. Simon Sinek also in his keynote speech explains how in the 1900s there was a man named Samuel Pierpont Langley. Samuel Pierpont Langley was given $50,000 from the U.S. Army to learn how to, or I don't know what it was, but who does the flying? Is it the Marines? Air Force, okay. So, thanks. $50,000 to get a plane off the ground for the first time, okay? And at that time, to get a plane off the ground was like our .com of today. And not only was he given that, but he was a man high in society. He sat on the Smithsonian, and he also sat on Harvard, and he knew a lot of great minds. So he brought all the great minds together, and everywhere he went when he was experimenting and learning how to fly the plane, or trying to fly the plane for the first time, the New York Times would follow him all around. But then about 200 miles away, but what he wanted, Samuel Pierpont Langley, he wanted to become rich, he wanted to become famous, and he wanted to be the first person to fly the plane, right? Now, 200 miles away, we had the Wright brothers, who had no money whatsoever. They had a bicycle shop. And from the proceeds of the bicycle shop, they used that to learn how to fly the plane. But their why was because they wanted to move humanity forward. They wanted to change the world. So all the people came in and gave their blood and their sweat and their tears for no money. And no one had a college education to help them experiment on flying a plane. And there was no New York Times following them all around to see if this could possibly happen. So the day that plane went up in the air, there was no one there except them and the people who all put it together. You see, when we move from a space of within, it doesn't matter. We don't need that money. We don't need that fortune. We don't need that fame. It comes to you because your why is deeper. You are authentic, and you're moving from a place of wholeness. And for you, You're here to give your gifts, and you're here to give your talents out into the world. And you're here to move from that place of wholeness. And what can you do to move society forward? How can you give your gifts and talents? And these are just questions that you ask in your meditation. And out of nothing and out of nowhere, the flash comes in. And the way is paved for you. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to strive. It's already done, like the ant and the journey and the potato chip. And so I want to share one last spiritual practice with you from this book of Emergence by Derek Randall. And it's called the 1 Minute Mystic. So when you decide what you want and why you want it, and you realize that maybe it's a sense of self-love, or it's a sense of security, or whatever it is, a respect that you want in your life, I invite you every day to be the 1 minute mystic. And all day long, you can do this from the moment that you wake up. You wake up and you give gratitude for life. You start breathing into your heart space. And then when your mind chatter starts, you say, 1 minute, please. I'll be with you in a second. And you start embodying that feeling of self-respect, that feeling of self-love, that feeling of security. And it's all you need to do. Maybe you do it when you wake up, you do it before you go to work, you do it in the office when you're on break, you do it when you're watching TV and there's a commercial. It's just the 1 minute mystic before you eat your dinner. And then you embody that and just allow your life to be fulfilled easily and effortlessly. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within. And I'm going to invite Hugo to come forward. We're going to try the 1 minute mystic. I invite you to close your eyes and to go within and to breathe into your heart space. And when the chatter of your mind comes in, just remind yourself, 1 minute, please. That's all I need. Just to focus on my heart. Now think of that feeling of what it is that you are seeking to create in your life. You never have to get it outside of yourself because you're not broken. There's nothing to be fixed. Everything that you need is within you. Maybe that feeling of love. And just allow this feeling of love to move throughout your whole body. As you breathe into this space, into this beautiful feeling, I would just recognize and know the oneness of life that is everywhere present. Always perfect, always loving, always expressing itself in all and through all. And just knowing that each and every person here lives and moves and has their being from a sense of wholeness, from a sense of oneness. There is nothing outside that will fix anything. That you are rooted and you are grounded in the power and the presence of God. All the miracles and all the joy and all the life is already at your feet. Like the ant, the journey, and the potato chips. Because what I know about each and every individual here in this room is that you are a divine rock star. And so it is.
The splendor of the King, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice, let all the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great is our God, Sing with me how great is our God, and all will sing how great is our God. Age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead, three in one, Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. You're the name above all names. You are worthy of all praise, and my heart will sing how great is our God. How great is our God. Sing with me, how great is our God. You know we'll sing how great is our God. How great is our God. Sing with me, how great is our God. And all will sing how great is our God.
Beautiful. Wow. So full. So gorgeous. So this is the time in our service where we give back to our spiritual community. I invite our ushers to come forward. Rebecca and Dennis, thank you so much for your service. And I invite you to take your gift and put it over your heart, and just recognizing that your gifts allow our spiritual community to expand and grow in love and joy and the presence of God as our life. So I invite you to close your eyes and go within. So I'm grateful for this beautiful spiritual community, recognizing there's flood of abundance that is flowing through each person's life right here and right now, knowing that these gifts are blessed and they're multiplied abundantly, and so it is. Thank you, and so it is. I'm sorry, our affirmation. Together we say, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and that all that I receive. And so it is. Thank you. That was kind of like a flutter of everything happening at once. Oh, well, it's all perfect, right? So I want to thank Dennis and Ginny Mills before you leave. Thank you. They always leave during this part. Melanie Bennett, thank you so much on sound. Gregory DeVille, my mother loves you, and so do I. David Yankaskas, thank you for holding light for us. Thank you. Thank you, Deb Sadler. She's going to be a free woman. She's retiring soon. Thank you so much. Love your consciousness. Thank you, Hugo and Tiffany Jane. Thank you so much. And we also have Reverend Catherine Bonin from Carlsbad Centers for Spiritual Living, and Bill, Bill's always here, Salisbury, Reverend Bill, Dr. Reverend Bill, and we also have Rebecca and Trudy here, our practitioners. So, yeah, it's nice. We have a high conscious room here. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I feel honored. What's going on? The Dances of Universal Peace this Sunday at 7 o'clock. Simple songs and dance celebrating all paths to God. It's a beautiful spiritual practice if you want to join us. And we have the Deep Sound Meditation. This is for women only. This is going to be the kickoff of the summer. This is with Callie Sorensen and the Seaside Sisters. It's going to be a beautiful evening on June 5th. And of course, if you don't know already, that James Van Prague will be here, and he's just an amazing evening with him. It opens your heart and your soul just to new perspectives, just beautiful. So I invite you to stand, and together we have our universal blessing. We say, may all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. In our closing song. David, would you like to come up with us and join us?
Let your heart fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Let your heart fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Peace will change 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 our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. Peace in our hearts. Peace in our world. In our world.
I love you, Seaside. May you walk in peace, and please join us for cookies and tea in the other room. I have shortbread cookies dipped in chocolate. Oh, they're so good.